currently loading. So again, we have a 20-minute discovery phase for the players to discover the map and then also rank themselves in. So you can see at the top right, it's the free practice. And let's actually go ahead and spectate someone here. Let's actually go with Joey here. Let's go with Joey and see what he's doing as the track, of course, has some obstacles. So the track name is Denny Park. And let's go ahead with Joey here. Who's Joe? Yeah, I know that joke. And Joey currently overtaking a lot of people here by the looks of it. You could have seen it here. Gets a lot of speed into that left-hander. Here we go. I mean, you can see a lot of, like, not that, like, sharp turns, a lot of open turns where you really have to hit the angle and you can transfer a lot of speed. But this turn looked very hard. You definitely want to drift there. And then we already have the multi-lap here. So Joey currently finding himself on that third position, actually. So not that bad for him. 56 seconds in length is this one, as my game is also a little bit laggy, but that's how things are. Currently we have leading Moppel and Patrose leading the race here, and then also Peems, who's in first with a 54.82. So great time from him. So we have a lot of German players actually in here, and we can see a lot of Patrosen here, and then also Fuggers. Okay, that's a different name here. But let's actually take a look who's all playing. We have like a lot of people who are actually out, but also like 28 people who are playing. I mean, that's just very cool to see. And yeah, currently Patrose is still on that third position. And also Shorty is playing. So a good friend of mine is playing the race here, as well as Dexter. I've seen him here. So Shorty and Dexter hand in hand on P4 and 5. And of course, fuel management also comes in handy if you play this kind of free practice here. So you either want to respawn to the start or do a pit stop. But of course, you will most likely go and make just a respawn. So let's take a look here onto the players again, as we're just following Dexter at the moment. But we have Shumi playing, Joey, Patrose, Matus, Shorty, this guy, Yish, Dexter, Azox. Then we have Peems, Neko, that is, Bruni, Moppel, Figure, Xawai, Siflayer, Sky, Saibai, and yeah, then someone just messed it up. So we have a lot of players playing here, just named a few. All the players are actually ringing a bell to me. I have to say that. Focus Roxon, of course, as well. And let's actually go with Wolfstyle here for that, the winner of the last season. So let's take a look how he's doing it, as he's currently not having such a good place. But never mind, he actually went up to P3 with a 46.51. So he's only, what means only, he's 1 second behind Shumi, who had a very good run thus far. So looking very good for Shumi at the moment. As Wolfstyle drops a little bit behind, gets overtaken by Brony, Dexter, and I think Joey was already ahead of him. And then also Saibai. So that's how fast things can go here, as you can see. That's how fast things can go. And currently our top 9 or top 10 looks like that here. With Scrappy was the last player in the top 10, but now has been overtaken. So positions can change very rapidly. So the gap is currently not that huge. Only the top 1 has a gap of 0.48 of a second, which is pretty good. But maybe he has just discovered or learned the track very fast. And then Patrose is 1.2 seconds behind, even though he's on P10. So people will, of course, improve. They still have 60 minutes time to do that. And Scrappy is currently racing very well here. Nice speed accumulated, and he will definitely improve his time with that by the looks of it. Yes, with a 46.25 going up to P6. So Scrappy's doing that very well. Also this, yeah, no slide here, because you really have to manage your tires. And an infamous player for that is actually Shorty, who did that one really well in that prior season. He was always coming up with new techniques and stuff like that. So Shorty was actually doing very well with that.
Let's go!
Hello, smiley face.
Yo, Rave, thank you so much for the resub. Thank you, man. And welcome to the stream. Long time no see, actually. But it's always good to see you here, man. Hello, hello. Hopefully you're doing good. As look at Scrappy here. Scrappy can improve here. And he will do so indeed. And yeah, 45.46. That is very good here. Going up to P3. So let's go ahead and follow someone else. So Scrappy currently on the podium. And the podium, of course, matters when it comes to to determination if you or where you're going to play the qualifying in, since the qualifying matters. So I'm just going to read it out here. The qualifying session will take place with drivers being able to do one single flying lap. Starting the session from the pit box, you got 1 lap to gain momentum and then start your flying lap where you will have to deliver your best performance. The results of the qualifying session will determine your position on the starting grid for the race. Points will be distributed for the first 8, I think here it's the first 13 drivers. If a tie occurs, the drivers will set the time first will get ranked ahead of the other one. So what does that mean? So this one here is only to discover the map and maybe find out some strategies. So now the qualifying matters because the qualifying gives you points and also an advantage going into the race that comes after that. And yeah, my game is currently a little bit lagging, but you can see it here. A lot of penalties actually have come, maybe because of a lag or something like that. I have no idea, but like 3 or 4 penalties have come into that. But yeah, hello Kuzi and Rave. I mean, things like that doesn't matter. I mean, there are always things that are more important than just watching a stream. But I mean, currently, I think the Trackmania Formula League is a really good concept, and I'm looking forward to be joined in by Atypick in the next cast. But he is currently moving, and that's why he cannot join us, because he's like more of the information man and I'm like more of the caster. But I'm trying to give you also an insight here, as it is currently Matus who's leading the race with a 44.58. So that's a great time. But also Barbos is not so far behind here with less than 0.1 of a second. So that is a great performance here from the German player. Then we have Wolsal, the defending champion, on 3rd. Shumi on P4. Then Jessa Rhodes, who was also, I think, very surprisingly on that 3rd position after the prologue, together with Scrappy and I think it was Barbos, if I recall it correctly. I don't remember it that well, but that's how the standings are. But a great performance here from him. Then Bruni, Scrappy. So Joey not even playing anymore. Or Scrappy not even playing. Maybe he's suffering from severe lags or just going to the pit, like you see here. So he's going into his pit, and they can see it, of course. You have your set pit determined on your position by the looks of it. So if you, of course, so there are different pits, as you can see, that players are taken, as Carl is currently struggling to find his pit. So let's actually go with Carl here. Let's go with Carl for a round. Maybe he's just figuring things out, but currently he's on P18. So not sure what he does here, but well, he found a pit. That's good. Clap for Carl. He found a pit. Let's go ahead. I just want to see how Carl is doing, because currently he's only on P20, but he can probably do better. So let's go with him as he goes into the multi-lap just now. Boom. So just filled some new tires, or just got on some new tires and some fuel. So fueled in some fuel. Do you say it like that? I don't know. But let's go ahead with Carl here for some laps. As the Genius player and the 2006 world champion can certainly do very well on tech. I mean, it's a player that wasn't really there for a long time, and then he was just coming back and winning a lot of competitions, and yeah, playing just on a good level. I mean, Trackmania has changed so much, but he was always there to adapt to those kind of changes, and with that he is currently doing very well, as he is probably not improving his time because he didn't have a lot of speed going to the multi-lap, but maybe he can do it now here, as he is 2.1 seconds behind Patrosa here, who's currently leading the race ahead of Shumi. And then we have John Kush, where I'm just gonna go around here with Super Kaluf, as he didn't get the best line on that line beforehand, but gets a lot of speed here, so he probably needs to still practice this map a little bit longer to get this one into his muscle memory. As someone is a little bit laggy there up front, as you can see here on place 42. But yeah, we already have, or we still have 10 more minutes to go. So Carl is probably improving his time, but not by a huge margin here. Yeah, 20-30 he gets, but that wasn't too much, so he still has to do some practice. So Scrappy on P4. Then we have John Kush in the pit, as well as Matus, not surpassing the 130 kilometers per hour. Then Barbos, this guy, or Sky, and then Shorty in the top 10, and Hello Samurai-son, or how, or how Mark calls you, Some Horizon. I'm just calling you Samurai-son, because of samurai being a word for me. Not sure what's correct for you, but I just had to say that, and then, he means this guy, he's also my stream. But, yeah. So, of course, the practice here gives you a good overview how good you are in the race, and how, of course, how you can push it and stuff. Okay, Samu. Alright. I just called you Samu then. But hopefully all of you having a good time and a good day, because I certainly have. And yeah, I mean, what can I say about this track? I mean, just looking at the top, it's pretty open, not a lot of hard turns. Maybe like, I want to see this one here. I think that's turn number, wait, where is it? Going from here. So maybe those kind of hairpin section here that can be very hard. We have to slow down a lot because you're coming from the multi-lap and then you accumulate a lot of speed here. And I mean, other than that, the track looks pretty open. You can push it here a lot since the turns are pretty, like, let's say, simple and not like 90-degree-ish shaped. And with that, you can push it a lot. You have different lines here. Of course, for the pit, you can see it here. We have to go outside here. But you have to be 130 here. So after this kind of speedy section, or before that speedy section, I mean, you really have to decide, because a pit stop will actually cost you a lot. Because I think it's the most speedy section here. And you have to decide, okay, am I going for another pit? And with that, you lose even more time than just going to the pit. So you really have to consider those things. And yeah, I think those will be the strategies that will make or break, of course. And of course, the penalty with the pit lane and speeding in the pit lane, of course, which gives you a 10-second penalty, will also be very important. So those are the things we really want to consider. Of course, it's also about the fastest time, but also how consistent you can get it on the track here. And yeah, currently it's looking like Patrose is doing a very good job here. 43.92, the only player who's surpassed or has reached that 43 barrier, or has breached that 44 barrier, let's say like that. Then we have Wosal, Shumi, Scrappy, also on P4, so hopefully his game is not lagging. And then there's Matus, also an old school player, if I recall it correctly, who's currently on P5. Okay, there we go. Now finish practice, and then yeah, they are. So Zulus, it works like that. They are practicing at the moment. It's a free practice mode. And then the players are going to do the qualifying, where where the position will be determined in a flying lap, in just one flying lap. And also the top 13, if I recall correctly, will get away some points. So in the qualifying, you will get your position for the race. So this is how things work. Okay, let's take a look here onto the players who are a little bit further behind, because we certainly have a lot of players playing here. By the looks of it, you can see almost everyone has made it. So we have 43 players who are here, which is very cool. So I just have to say that. And let's go with Santos here. Let's go with Santos, also a friend of mine, currently on P14, so a little bit struggling, but he can definitely also do very good. Bonks are damaging cars and tires. Sorry for stupid. Not all good, because those are things that I have to, like I had to think about as well. No, but they are not. But you cannot respawn. You cannot respawn, and of course, if your tires are down here, your car will behave differently. And if you have no fuel, your car will not accelerate. You're just in freewheel. Let's say it like that. So those are how the things are. So guys, if you have any questions, make sure to ask them. There are no stupid questions for that. I just have to say that. And of course, it's the first time that I'm gonna cover it here on my channel. So don't worry about the questions, guys. Just don't worry about them. There's no stupid question or anything like that. So just go ahead and, yeah, go for it. Yeah, tires will change the physics if you, of course, have lower tires. So also if you have like 10%, your car tends to slide out or stuff. It actually was already in Trackmania 2. But it was also out of the blue in this game here. But we have 4 minutes or 4 minutes and 40 to go. And we have Dexter overtaking Jesse Rhodes here. So I think Dexter is actually on a good time. So let's go with him. The fellow OK boy. Let's go with him. So Dexter, of course, one of the fastest tech players, if you ask me. Very good player. Also on other styles. So he can do very well. And also can learn tracks very good. I mean, when I can describe Dexter, he is a player that is, you know, you're playing Cup of the Day, he makes it into Div 1. Like always, like almost always, he makes it in Div 1. And then, you know, he plays the track, he didn't understand it, but gradually, he's building up a pace, gradually. And then he's just, at the end, like in the top 16, he's like, ah, okay, the tracks work like that, the track works like that. And then he's pushing it and eventually winning it. So Dexter, definitely one of the best players out there when it comes to fast learning and adapting. So this could come in very handy. But of course, you have a lot of time here to go for it. As we currently see, Patrosa still leading ahead of Jesse Rhodes, which is only, who's only 0.09 of a second behind. And then Shumi is in the pit, going for the last 3.5 minutes. Wosel on P4, then Moppel on P5, Scrappy on 6th, then Matus, Barbos, Dexter, and Carl, who actually sniped in that 10th position. So that's cool to see. And also Shorty is doing very good, 44.5, finding himself 0.7 behind. So you can see, if I go on Shorty here, you can see the interval that he is away from the place here on the left. So that's how the thing is working out. Yes, the drifting is damaging the tires faster. That's why you take turns a little bit, or like sometimes no slide. And there's also like maybe people only gonna do a pit stop just for, okay, just for tires would be a little bit bad, but of course, you get the point. So some turns you don't want to drift. So you can see it here. Shorty drifted there, or drifts here. Boom, he lost. He lost it more and more. So he's probably not going for a lot of slides. Maybe for some no slides, because no slides do not damage your tires that much. And I think on this map, it actually comes in very good, because with that, you can... It's a little bit like... Yeah, Shorty was the player who was always coming up with different strategies. So... no slides actually are a valid option. And pit stops and no slide matters. I can tell you that. I mean, Shorty is probably not going with that for the fastest time, I have to say. But maybe in the race, this will come in handy. That he has not a lot of... Or, like, look at the tires. They didn't even, like, were used up. Only in this turn, he really goes for a slide. So, it's really cool to see that, again, from Shorty, that he's not going for the slides. Okay, so let's go a little bit further here, as a lot of players will actually go for that. I can tell you that. You can also see Focus here, not going for a lot of slides, even though he's a tech player, of course. Yeah, just cool to see this kind of adaptation to that, because tires are the meta, kind of. Really want to take focus on the tires. Okay, then we have Context going to the pit. Joey still on the round. And Jesse Rhodes has taken over the lead here. Oh man, oh man. And yeah, you can see here, you have to be 130 there. But he's currently leading 0.2 ahead of Patrosa, then Shumi, Wolsa, Moppel, and then Carl also moved up to P5 here. P6, sorry for that. And Scrappy is currently on his last lap. Is the amount of fuel impacts acceleration at max speed? So less you have, faster you go. Or I don't think so. Nah, that's not the thing. I mean, this will be too hard to implement, but could be a good idea actually. But then you have to set a value. How much is the car worth and stuff? But this is unfortunately not a thing. But also a good idea there, Zulus. I mean, that's why I love like that you guys are actually asking questions, because that comes up or opens up new ideas, and with that, you know, you can maybe implement some other things. So the free practice will end now. There are some people who can still finish, especially Dexter here. Oh no, who's going to the pit? Alright. Okay, so nothing really has happened, but you can see the pit is really hard to do. But now the free practice has ended. The free practice has ended and people are familiar with the track. So Jessa Rhodes wins it here. Patrose, Schumi, Barbos and Wolfsal are in the top 5. But I mean, it's only to do a free practice, so not too much. And now we're gonna start with the qualifying. So again, the qualifying session will take place with drivers being able to do only one single flying lap. Starting the session from the pit box.
Hello.
You got 1 lap to gain momentum and then start your flying lap where you will have to deliver your best performance. The result of the qualifying session will determine your position on the starting grid for the race. So you can see now it matters. You have 1 flying lap to determine your position in the actual race and also can collect points for the standing. So now it's, of course, we could talk a little bit of a matter here where you really want to go for maybe a drift line here instead of a no-slide line. But, of course, this will be very hectic now. And also, thanks for your follow, Dietze. Thank you, thank you. So now the race will start. And let's take a look here who is winning this qualifying. And with that, 20 points to the standing. So 20 points for first, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, and so on. And, yeah. Let's go ahead and see. So warm-up is starting here, as every player wants to load in, of course. But yeah, also there is a DMP. So you get points, division minimum points. But I'm gonna come to that just after it. So you can see people are starting from the pit here. That is just really cool to see. So I think it's based on your position or based on your team where your pit is. And now they're gonna start here and they have 5 minutes time here to set the fastest flying lap. Oh man, that is just so cool to see. It's just, guys, really, it's so good to see. Oh man, I just have to say that. That is really cool. Zulus, yeah, I have to figure those things out. I will do that after Trackmania Grand League today, because I have a lot of things. But I've also seen a YouTube comment that I've received. But I will probably do that, but I have to check with my schedule, because the Baltic Trackmania is like a tournament that is also in my heart. I just have to say that. Okay, so they have 2 laps here, but they have only a 2-lapper. So I think that means that the race will end after that, probably. But yeah, we're gonna see here. As we have Jessa Rhodes leading, then Ixawai sniping the first place at the moment. But of course, the flying lap matters now. So the flying lap really matters, and you don't want to make a mistake here. Of course, as we see currently, Supap in the battle with Cole Barbos. Then we have also Figure, is that? And Matus fighting it out. So Park not with the best speed, but Jessa Rhodes again with a very good section here. And he's followed by Matus and then also none other than Figure. But look at the action here. How many people are here? Look at that. And it's actually Sopak sliding away here in that last turn. And this is super unfortunate, because with that you lose on a lot of speed. And you can see this cost him a lot of time. As we see Shumiskin just waiting a little bit. But Jessa Rhodes wins it here. Matus in second, Wolfson in third, Scrappy on fourth. And then we see Shorty, who had a rather conservative racing line, on P5. Dexter on sixth, and then Barbos on P7. But maybe the one or another can snipe a placement here. Maybe that's the case. Let's take a look here. We have Patrose still playing. So Patrose could maybe snipe in a placement here, because he could just went into this thing a little bit later. This could be the thing. What placement will Patrose end up in? It is place number, actually. Oh my god, place 3 for Patrose here. Wow, that was very nicely executed. But also Shumi here, still going for a time. And who else is there? Because they have, you can see 2:38 they have. So they could leave the pit whenever they like. So we have one more player playing here. And this is Gigi or Jui Junior. who could make something happen. But currently, I mean, he's not looking too bad here by the looks of it. So what time will that be for him? The last player crossing the finish line or the start line. And he is... Okay, never mind. So those are the points. You can see it here. Top 13 is gaining points. Jessa is winning it. Then we have Matus, Patrose, Wosai, Scrappy, Shorty, Dexter, Barbos, and Eddie and Cole rounding off the top 10. Sky, Joey, Figgy will still go home with some points, so they will be certainly very happy about that. The bubble boy is Cantex, not getting some points. But yeah, those are the first points here for the actual Trackmania Formula League. And now we're going to start with the race. And those are also the qualifying placements. And there's also a cross-division ranking. So that means that so that's the DMP, but I can explain that now. In order to have all players in a unique cross-division ranking, a new special point system has been created. By being part of division, you will be credited at each race with division minimum points, DMP. Division minimum points is division N-1. So in this case, it is division 1 or -1. So division DMP plus 50 points by incrementing for the lowest division. So that means that you have a minimum amount of points and a maximum amount of points that you can get, and determined on the divisions you will have. Like, the maximum point will, of course, increase the more divisions you have. So, but we're gonna see that just after the race. I think then it's easier to explain than just give you some mathematical formulas here. But, yeah, I will just do it afterwards. But you will just see how this works. So now the race will start. The race will start on this beautiful track, but yet so a little bit shorter track, I would say. But I really like the scenery here with the blocks, and also the normal scenery of Trackmania has been utilized here, which reminds me a little bit of a valley or a lagoon, I have to say. But that's just very cool. So 2 minutes of warm-up, and now everyone will get points. But of course you want to land on first, second or third, because they get 1, 15, 95 or 80 points to the total ranking. The fastest lap also gets 10 points, so that's also a valid technique if you have fallen behind. But of course you can also fall in the danger of not finishing if you have no fuel left, or if you just fall off of the map. It can happen here, but I don't really see it. So I don't think that a player will fall down on this track here. So the race is starting now. So do you have any predictions who's gonna take it? Is it Jesse Rhodes who's taking it, who was in first position here in the qualifying? Or is it maybe someone else like Shorty, Dexter, or anyone else who can do a very good job? I don't know, but you guys can maybe tell me your prediction in the actual chat. And we're gonna start in 55 seconds. How many laps are they going? And we're gonna check just after the warm-up. We're gonna see it. But I think since it's a rather short map, we see, like, I would say maybe 50 laps, something like that. I would guess like 54 laps. 54 laps, maybe even more. I don't know. So race will approximately take 40 to 50 minutes. Craven, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my. My boy Rachel will win it. So you can see the pit stop here. Just executed by Siflair. That's really cool. Yeah, 40 minutes of concentration. That's true. You have to concentrate, or you have to focus a lot here. I have to say that. So warm-up has ended. And we're gonna start now. And of course your position is determined, or was determined, by the seating. So you can see people are on the start here. And you can see where they're starting. So you get a little bit of a head start, of course. Not that much, but I mean, it's something, you know? It's something, and it's a little bit like in the new, or it's in the new one. So it's 60 laps, yes. So I was right with that. But just consider that this is a pretty short map. So actually go with a focus here. Or, no, actually Patrose, because he's very far ahead in this one here. And let's see if we can force Matus or Jesse Rhodes to maybe make a mistake. So again, field management comes in very handy. So we have 60 rounds on this one. And let's take a look here. Jesse Rhodes currently still leading Matus on that second position. But it is nothing, of course, decided in the first lap because we have 60 racing laps. It's not like cup mode or something. It's an endurance race. So it won't take that long. But it is still something, as we see the first mistake there on the inside here by Matus, actually, who made that mistake. So Carl was able to pass him. So that was unfortunate. So it is still Jesse Rhodes leading ahead of Wosal, going to that second lap. So 53 seconds, you can see 9 seconds is the multi-lap in general faster by the looks of it. I mean, maybe that's just, I think we have seen a 44 time or 45. So yeah, but yeah, Patrosa is doing very well here. Then Dexter behind, then Carl. But let's go a little bit into a battle here, as we see a lot of people who are actually here. As well as Scrappy here, just behind the top 10 here. But he gives us a very good overview here. Scrappy playing for Team Lazarus, of course. And has surprisingly for me played this season. So Scrappy currently on that good placement here. Gets a good turn though. You want to take that one, no slide. Also gets a lot of speed, so Matus will get overtaken. And therefore Scrappy is now in, yeah, not even in the top. Yeah, he's in the top 10 now. Alright. He's also going for a drift here in this turn. I think everyone is going for that. And you can also see different teams here for the players. The teams don't have an impact on you, but they're just a cool incentive to show that you're maybe from Team Schweineaim, or you're from Team Patrose, or you just create your own team with some people. I have seen Dexter having a team in particular, and all the other people. So it's just a very cool incentive. And why some are already out? Because those are the casters. And yeah, they are certainly not playing. So Scrappy currently doing very well. Let's go a little bit further behind. And let's actually go here with Santos, who I wanted to spectate beforehand. Currently sitting on P37, getting overtaken by saying goodbye, and also by Grandy Grippy. But Santos is doing that turn very well. Oh, but drifts a little bit too much there. So Santos gets the penalty, and also not the best drift here. So he falls way further behind here. Look at that. He's already 8.6 seconds behind. You can see here the interval between it. And yeah, with that, Granadi finds himself on 38th position, but still in the top 40, which is also occupied by Wolf. Then we have Soup Ape, or Soup Ape. So he's an ape who eats soup. I don't know. Soup Ape. Not sure how to pronounce that. Currently on 42nd. So who's currently last? Let me actually check that. Okay, we actually have Quiyoko, who's in last position at the moment, finding himself 4.7 seconds behind the 42nd player. But hey, let's take a look here. And 17 seconds behind the leader. Save fuel, yeah. I mean, those things will definitely be interesting. Of course, it's a little bit overwhelming to do that as one person. I will definitely not cover everything, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best here, but currently Jesse Rhodes is still leading. Great performance out of the defending champion, Wosal here. Wosal on that second position, going for a good lap here. This could be a very, very good lap for Wosal here, as he does the fastest lap. Indeed, a 43.73.3 ahead, and now he's going for the attack. We could see a position change here between Wosal and Jesse Rhodes here. Wosal is doing it very well. Of course, he was winning this first season, and let's take a look how he's doing it here. Jesse Rhodes, of course, being from the United States, and of course, the connection is a little bit delayed. But again, it is Wosal on a very sick lap, goes into the lead here, but not getting the best turn here over that stretch. But what a great fight here it is already between both of them. I think we can see a very close race, as we are already on lap 6. But it's a back and forth between them, as it is Wosal going now into the lead, has more speed. Into that multi-lap we go, lap number 7, and we have Wosal now leading the race with that attack there. And now he is leading the race. Wasn't the best midsection for him on this lap, but he is currently leading. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's Rachel. Really? Dude, I have no idea, actually. I thought it's a new player. It's Rachel. Oh my god, I completely got baited. But I thought a Pawnster is playing, maybe. Man. That was unfortunate. So, Rachel. Dude, how should I know that? How should I know that? How should I know that this is a porn star? Oh, guys, of course. I know that this is, of course, a nickname, and I've heard that name somewhere, but I didn't know that this was Rachel, actually. So, thanks for telling me, actually. I just thought it's someone, like, new who just wanted to make a meme out of that. But, okay, then it's Rachel. Alright, alright. So, of course, I knew that this was this kind of name, but... Alright. Okay, so Bob is pronounced with an AS in grandpa. Stands for poppet. Value in French. There's 2 A's in grandpa. Grandpa. And both are pronounced differently. But yeah, so let's go with the point star here. With Jesse Rhodes going to the lead again. So Rachel is doing a good job, so thank you. I was always wondering, who is that Jesse Rhodes guy? I was always wondering. But yeah, now we have solved the mystery. As we're gonna go a little bit further back. We see Carl finding himself ahead of Shorty. Well, let's take a look onto Shorty's fuel and tire management. He's at 50% and 46 liters. And Carl is already at 35%. So you can see those are the techniques that are coming in, because he has to pit now, but not because of the fuel, but because of the tires. And with that, Shorty will actually have a little bit of an advantage, as well as some other people here. So I think the technique here is to go for like a similar amount of usage of that you do not have. Yeah, like let's say only 10% tires when you have 40 liters of fuel. So those are the techniques. But then you have to negotiate, of course. Grandpa. So it's Supap. Supap. Or not Supape. Supap. Okay. I see. So Carl has to pit very soon, actually. We can see the first pits coming in like, would say, lap number 12, lap number 13. But 1/6 is already done. And currently, Wolfsal and Jesse Rhodes... okay, actually, alright, we see the first pit here. We see the first pit from Rachel, and he will, of course, lose on a lot of positions. Let's actually see, is anyone else going for a pit? But that's an interesting choice, though. That's an interesting choice here from him to go for a pit already. But yeah, I actually will go for Scrappy now. But, of course, lap number 10, so that's 1/6. We see a lot of people going for a pit, and... Okay, alright. Okay, never mind. I thought you get a penalty after that as well, but that's not the case. Okay, so he went for a pit already. Let's go with Scrappy here. Where is he? Where is Scrappy? Because this geek mentioned it. Okay, he is at 34%. So he can take the one or another lap. But of course, if you have lower tires, your car tends to drift out more. But yeah, that's actually a good call here from Geek. Who is currently like watching the stream, of course. And yeah, I was actually thinking about it, what you have to do here, but because I mean, you can see it here, it's Dexter sliding out a bit here just because its tires are at 18%. So you have to, do you want to take that risk for not having a good turn here, or what you're gonna do, you know? So I don't know how he's gonna make that. So I would actually go for 12 laps here as well as... Oh my god, Dexter! Oh, that was so close of getting... Oh, he actually got a speeding penalty. That was so close, man. So Dexter has gotten a speeding penalty. So now he has to wait 10 seconds in the pit because he was too fast. So great that we have captured that. It is Dexter with a penalty here. And with that, he has to wait additional 10 seconds here on the pit. And wow, that was almost the perfect entry indeed, but that wasn't the case. So we can see positions now turning around and stuff. And look at Shorty. I was talking about Shorty. Shorty DE, he's at 27% tires and 90% fuel, so he can well go for lap 15 and maybe only for 4 fuel stops or pit stops. Is he going for that? As I know Shorty, he is probably going for exactly this technique. And with that, he has one last pit stop. And currently, Shorty is on that first position with that. Of course, he still has to pit. But still, it's a very interesting strategy here. We have the 10 laps going for 5 runs. Then 12 laps going for 4. And 15 going for 3. So that is really cool. And thank you, chat. Thank you, Wolfly, for pointing that out. I think I was coming up for that as well. But and currently Shorty is doing that one really well. And I was expecting things like that. So you can see he has more tire grip than fuel. As he is currently still has to do one more lap in order to use his strategy. And let's take a look onto the other people. So we have already huge gaps here. 22 seconds between them. Shorty currently leading 12 seconds, 10 seconds ahead of Joey, who also didn't pit yet. And he's also going to go for that strategy as going for as little pit stops as possible. Then Grippy, going for a pit stop now in lap 14. Okay, that's unusual to see it like that. But I will actually go for Shorty here because that's the interesting part, because he's gonna pit now, and we're gonna check in what position he's ending up with, because of course with this kind of strategy here he will have one less pit stop than the others, or even two if you go for a pit stop in lap 10. Oh, Shorty making a small mistake there, but maybe that slowdown comes in very good. Okay, he didn't get a speed penalty. Let's take a look here. Shorty is pitting now. He was 10 seconds out of Joe. He also had to pit. Then we had, of course, also our one and only porn star here, Jesse Rhodes, 20 seconds behind. And yeah, let's take a look. Okay, at 20%, the car becomes uncontrollable. Okay. All right, so Shorty is doing it, and Shorty is fueling up, and it's Volsal overtaking him. Then, of course, also our beloved Rachid and Patrosa as well. Scrappy also, Barbos, Gigi, Matus, Dexter, and then we have Context. So a lot of people have actually overtaken him, but look at them, they have not, or they have already used their fuel and stuff. So this will be definitely an interesting race. So Volsal currently leading with 3 seconds. And then there's, of course, one and only Dexter, who had a 10-second penalty and is now down to P9 with that. So he could have been in the top 2 position with that performance, but currently it is a penalty for him. It was a penalty for him. So Dexter looking good here to overtake the one or another player here, as we see Carl on P41 here, almost getting lapped. And yeah, so Carl hasn't maybe not figured out quite yet, but maybe he just didn't go for a pit stop yet and going for the 20 laps. I don't know. Maybe there comes some few stupid or weird strategies, but of course in this case it is not working out. So Dexter on P7, then we have Matus, Barbos, Scrappy, and Patrosa, who is currently occupying the podium. Actually, the second position, he overtook Rachid, and then Volsal is on first still, 3.4 seconds ahead. But I'm really interested to see how actually the strategy here from Shorty works out, because you can see, I'm just gonna open it here. You can see Gigi, or Jui, I think it's Gigi, currently on P10, but look at this. He has no fuel left. He's on P10, and he has to go for a pit stop. So maybe he just went for a pit stop to get some new sort of tires in. But currently, Shorty is looking good. And also, Joey was going for that strategy that Shorty went for, and he is 30 seconds behind. So not too far behind Shorty here by the looks of it. Only 10 seconds, so maybe he got a penalty or stuff like that. But it is Shorty currently on P18 and overtaking the one or another player here. But then there are huge gaps between him, Bruni, Figgy, and all the other packs who just went for the lap 12 pit stop. So lap 20 comes in. This could also be a pit stop for some people here. Maybe for Matus. Or can he still make it to lap number 24? Where you, of course, want to make that pit stop, so at the end of the lap. Yeah, I think it's also very interesting to see that. And this is also what I was pointing out before that it is players who are going for different strategies. But I'm just going to go with Matus here, because he is certainly the player with, together with Rachid, who have the least amount of tire grip. And they still have to do 4 more laps. 4 full laps they have to do. And that's going to be very interesting to see. So the run will be decided I think like there's just with the last pit stop to see if the strategy from Shorty will work out, of course. And if you guys notice anything, just write it in the chat, please, because it's really hard to do anything. If you have any improvements or anything, just tell me. Just tell me, guys. I can just give you that information, because it's the first time I'm casting the Trackmania Formula League, and I'm trying my best. I certainly really enjoy this competition, and I'm grateful that I can cover it. But if you cover anything, if I should spectate someone, just tell me in the chat. As we see Rachel with a good turn here, we can see a lot of people not doing this side very well, so this is probably the make or break point on this one here. And of course, if your tires are already used and are below 20%, that was also pointed out in the chat, so just give me the information. You actually lose out on, yeah, the car gets uncontrollable. Is Trilux driving? No, he's not driving today. He will drive the next one. Probably, yeah. So we see actually Rachel going for a pit stop now in lap 21. So, okay, he's below 20%. So he will drop a tremendous amount of placements. But as well as Wosel going for a pit stop now. So probably they're going for the full ham strategy, not even fully tanking it in. So just going for the tires, I see. And then just fully zoop it. Alright, alright. So Patroso with that, and the new racing leader, Scrappy, Barbos, and a Dexter behind that. But bear in mind, they still have to pit. And then Camtex made a mistake, gets overtaken by a lot of people here. Moppel. And also Era, who's at 17%, or 17 liters. And also his tires, look at that, his tires just slid out there in this moment. So that was very unfortunate for him. I think this is also when you do it like on a normal block, if you have icy tires, that you will just lose grip. So you just have to stay very, very cautious and very, like, calm. Okay, so Shorty, P9, he will be in P1 very soon again, because people have to pit here. Watch Yesh for a bit. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Where is he, though? Let me check. Did I miss him? Here. P11. Alright. Okay. So, let's do that. Currently, he's in a battle with Sky, but slides out. You can see his tires are like under 20% and his car gets uncontrollable, and he will certainly go for a pit stop now. Yes, he will do so, not getting the speed penalty as he goes into the pit here in lap 23. So, a little bit of the tires yet actually to go for it now. So also Carl is here, Error, John Kush. So we see a lot of people as Carl maybe went for a wrong pit here. I don't know. I don't know about that. But, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna spectate Joe, SRK. You're very funny. So, he is ready to go. And he's currently sitting on P30. But now, of course, the important part comes in. Because now all the people here are going for a pit stop. And you can see it, all are in the pit. Shumi didn't go for a pit stop yet. And then there's also Barbos who didn't go for one yet. He will do that in the next round. So you're still gonna do that because his tires are still at 25%. So he's maybe gonna do a hybrid. And Shorty, look at that again. A 5-head strategy from him. He's at 45%, 38 liters. Still has to go for a pit stop. But he's only, like, he will still cruise around. And he will temporarily hold that lead. He will temporarily hold that lead. If the other peoples, of course, have already gone for a pit stop. So Wosal still on P4. I mean, Wosal was the person who went for an early pit stop to just change his tires and didn't go for a lot of fuel. So to just do the most optimal racing. I'm not sure when the tires actually have an impact on you, on what kind of percentage. Maybe it's 50 or 40% that you can, or that your car will slide differently. But that's also a cool strategy from Wosal. So we have 30%-ish. Okay, alright. So that's the technique from Wosal. Then we have Shorty, of course, going for the least amount of pit stops. And then the other people just going for the ordinary 4 pit stops. So Shorty leading here with 13 seconds, or 4 seconds and 13 seconds out of Joey, who does the same strategy as him. So they're gonna pit in lap number 30 and gonna take more conservative lines over that part here. So that we're gonna see if this actually will be faster. And of course we can see a adaptation in the last 2 laps if they still have the fuels and the tires, of course. Yeah, he could still win. That's true, Brandon. We're gonna see how the meta works, actually. We're gonna see it here, and it's really cool to see how people are doing it, because you have to set in a strategy beforehand. And right now, it's almost impossible to say who's gonna win, because we, of course, could analyze it and stuff, because we are almost halfway through. But, yeah, there's always penalties and stuff like that coming in. So, Shorty is 20 seconds ahead of the pack here, who already went for a pit stop. And, or let's say 15 to 20 seconds, because we have Dexter who had a penalty, of course. And Shorty is still cruising at 19 liters and 28%, and he still has to do some laps. So he has still to do some 2 laps. He still has to done with almost 3 laps. And with that, he really has to be cautious with his fuel, and of course also with his tires. But I mean, the thing is, he's not drifting too much, so his tires will not be worn off very quickly. And also, I mean, I think you can slide out even if you are not sliding. So things like that can happen. But yeah, I mean, Shorty looking very good. Okay, let's go a little bit further back and see what Jean Koch is doing for that lap. Currently P18 and went for a pit stop some laps ago. So I'm not sure if he has a strategy or not behind that. But he's fighting out with Sky at the moment for that 18th position. Sky with more speed here in this section. Going to that really long turn where you really want to hold your grip, of course. It's really important here. And also where you want to like get the most amount of speed. You surpass 480 kilometers here, almost 500. Look at that, if done correctly. And then going to a small hairpin here, where it's a very sharp turn where you have to drift. And with that, he did that one really well. Sky has overtaken him here, though, but still he's on P19. So let's take a look onto Shorty, because he's about to pit now. And yeah, wall-side strategy is working out, but you can see the tires are worn off, and the car gets less and less controllable here in this kind of sections. So Shorty, of course, wants to avoid hitting a wall now, and wants to avoid sliding out or stuff like that. So that's what he is doing very well. 3.5 liters he still has, so that is some great management of fuel here. I have to say that. Oh my god, that was so close of being a penalty. Oh my god, Shorty, what are you doing? He's really pushing it. Even in the pit stop. So now he's in the pit, and he gets overtaken by Wosal, who's gonna pit very soon again for his tires. So probably in this lap already, because he will drop below 30-ish%. And it is Wosal currently leading. Scrappy can also overtake, or will also overtake him, as well as Matus, Barbos, Dexter. Then we also have Rachid, Shumi, Era, Moppel, and then Eddie. Context as well. So Shorty drops down to P14 with that. So Shorty with 1 more pit. That's true. And the others still have 2. So it is Shorty who is 34 seconds behind the leader. But Wosal is pitting now. As I said, Wosal is pitting now. And this would change the field again. But you can see, I mean, let's see Wosal's pit here and see what he's going for. Is he only going for tires, or how much fuel he's going for? Let's take a look here. How much fuel is he going for? He's going for fuel. Fuel amount of fuel, almost. Full amount of fuel. And yeah, he's at 96. Yeah, he's on a 3-stopper. And the others are on a 4-stopper. And then there are people like Wosal who are, I think, on a 5-stopper, or like whenever they need. So they don't really have a real plan. Because lap 32, I don't see a real like reason behind that. Because he's just going for optimal racing lines and for drifts here instead of tires. Because your tires, of course, will be worn off, or worn off more if you drift, or if you yeah, just take turns like that if you do a force light action, you can see his tires already at 94%. And with drifting, your tires will be one off more. And that's what he wants to avoid. So he goes into the pit whenever he has 30%. And then there's also, of course, the fuel. That is very important that you have to manage as well. Because if you're faster, you will burning more fuel. So there are a lot of strategies that you can roll on. Maybe, yeah. Could also be. So it could also be like Geek said. He could also go for lap, let's say go for like 2 additional laps and then push it in the last laps or something like that. Because this is really important. This is really important. And I mean, people are about to pit again. And Shorty is currently on P12 and only 26 seconds behind. He's only 26 seconds behind. And I mean, he of course loses more time because of his racing lines. And I think that Shorty will actually lose more and more time. But it's all dependent how the pit stop is working out for the other people. As Dorian Raid gets a penalty from the pit lane. And the others are going for a pit stop very soon, as Kante is only at 18% tires here. And also Era not looking very good here. 9.1 liter. He can still go for 1 lap, but he has to aim for that lap 36. So still 2 more laps to go in order to make it happen. As you see, Patrose, Scrappy and Barbos having a fight at the moment. But of course the race will be decided in the ending. So the last couple of laps will be very, very cool to see. So Barbos 0.3 behind Scrappy here. And then we have Dexter, who, bear in mind, got a penalty. He got a 10-second penalty and is only 5.9 seconds behind Patrose. So he could have been leading the race, but he had to wait 10 seconds in the pit and also made a small mistake now. Shumi might go for a pit now, as well as Era and Moppel. So let's take a look onto them here. As Shumi is not going to the pit. Era should go because he has only 3.4 liters left. Okay, nice breaking down there. He's in the pit. Eddie not going for one. Then there is Moppel on P8 now, Wosal on P9, and Shorty lurking on P10. So Wosal is, well, look at that. Wosal is 7 seconds ahead of Shorty, but we've seen different strategies by them. So Wosal is using his tires a little bit more, so it's safe to say. Well, actually, it's interesting to see that. Let's take a look onto this comparison here. Because it is Wosal versus Shorty, and Wosal has 1 more pit, and Shorty is driving rather conservatively. And with that racing line, Wosal is actually driving a very good job. So let's compare that actually. It's a very good comparison, and this gives us a little bit of an overview how the meta on this racetrack is working out here. And we can see Patrose, Scrappy, and Moppel and Eddie also all going for a pit. Barbos didn't go for it, so maybe he drove a little bit more conservatively, but wow. So you can see Shorty is losing more and more time here over Wosal. Of course, now going up into P3 because all of the people went for a pit. Barbos didn't go for one just yet as he is approaching lap 37. Is he gonna go for 1 more lap, or is he gonna go into the pit? He's gonna go into the pit now. Alright. But we can see the difference here between Wosal and Shorty. 7.2 seconds. But maybe Wosal is also driving it more conservatively and changed his strategy. Who knows, who knows. But it's just very cool to see that. I mean, I'm not really into Formula 1 that much. I watched it as a kid. But, you know, seeing that there comes other things in mind than just racing. It's just very cool to see that. So Barbos in the pit now as expected. And now we have Wosal leading. Wosal is leading the round. And then Shorty is behind that. Wosal is 10 seconds ahead of Shorty here. But you can see they have the same amount of fuel and the same amount of tires, almost. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, guys. So I think that Wosal actually did it quite correct here by just going for the tires. But of course the race is decided at the end here. And Shorty and Wosal definitely have to go for 1 more pit here before we're gonna crush the finish line. Okay, let's go a little bit further behind and see where the other people are. As we see Rizokilos going for a pit. And we also have Yosh on P21, so great performance for him. Just ahead of Focus and Sivlair, who went for a pit just some rounds ago. So Sivlair at 92%. And then also Roxon is here on 25. XRY on P28. Then Wolf on P30. So you can just see the ranking here. And then we have Toasty and his teammate Glating on P34 and 36 respectively. Then Santos on P37. Then there's Carl on P40, alright. And we have actually a lot of players already out. So Bruni is out on this race. So I didn't capture that. So Bruni is out. Then also this guy. And he is still racing. So Koyoko is still racing. Currently on P41. Alright. So let's take a look here again onto that important part. Wosal and Shorty, of course, are currently... Well, not of course. They are leading the race with a kind of huge margin. Question mark. Wosal is doing that 12 seconds ahead of Patrose, who went for a pit. And then there's Shorty. But now you see the difference. Shorty is taking different racing lines. And Shorty will get overtaken very soon, I would say, from the other people. And he still has to go for a pit. But the others, of course, have to do that as well. 32%, you can see there's... Okay, no, Matus actually didn't go for a pit stop as well. But I think we have 48 pit stop for them. And then it's 45 or 46, maybe 47 for Shorty, who's currently losing time over Wosal, who is again showing us why he won Season 1. Okay, so Felima is saying that Shorty is winning. Okay, we see Wosal going for a pit stop now. Alright, 28% of his tires have been used, and he's going for one now. He definitely has to do one more after that. So he could have actually changed strategy here and went for the Shorty strategy. But he wanted to have full tires and just want to race. So that's why Shorty could win this race. Wosal, of course, dropping behind. Matus also going for a pit stop. Currently approaching it here. And Wosal is racing now. And he cannot finish this race with no pit stop. So Shorty is leading. Then we have Patrose behind. Then there's Barbos. Additional 3 seconds behind Patrose. Then Dexter on P4. Scrappy on 5th position. And then Shumi. So we have already accumulated a lot of gaps here between the players. But it is pretty close here for that top placements. Because of course Shorty will lose more and more time. And has to go for a pit very soon. As he's approaching lap 43 now. So 1.6 seconds between him and Patrose. And then also Barbos, Dexter. And I mean, it's a quadruple German lead. Or a pentuple German lead. If you, of course, count Scrappy as a German. He's, of course, German speaking, but from Belgium. And currently he is doing a great race. I also wish him the best of luck for the Trackmania Grand League tonight. Which will be, of course, covered by me as well. On the M&M Gaming channel. But also by my fellow streaming colleagues. As well as... Geek, who was also in the chat, so he's also covering that. So Shorty, 15 liters. I think he can still go for 2 laps. They have all one stop to go. Yeah, true that. But Shorty is going for that stop a little bit later, you know, earlier. And with that, he has to manage his fuel a little bit more. And you can see Patrose's already overtaking him. And I mean... We can also see Wosal, who will overtake a lot of people here if they're going for the pit stop, because he's at 84%. So now it will be important to see if Shorty goes for a later pit stop or if he's going for one. I mean, he has to go for the pit stop at least, definitely next round by the looks of it, because he's only at 10 liters. Approaching that one here. But yeah, I mean, with that, he will lose more and more time, because pit stops are not always like the meta you can go for. Or the thing you can go for. But it's currently looking good for Shorty to take home a good placement. But I'm doubting to see him winning, because he's gonna pit now. No, he cannot. He still has to pit. All of the people still have to pit one more time. And Shorty is going for the pit now in this lap. And then we have Wosal, who's probably just full blasted. And goes for one at lap 50 and then maybe snipe it in the ending. But you can see the tires are worn off. 4.5 liters. Shorty has to go for a pit now. Okay, good entry here for him. And I think it's actually, I would also say Patrose versus Volsal, and then also Dexter can have a saying here because he's only 1.5 seconds behind. So Shorty's going for a pit now, and this is his last pit stop. Bear that in mind. I'm not sure how he's doing that, but I think with that he doesn't have a good chance of making it into the top 3. Yeah. Volsal has to pit as well. But a little bit later than the others. He has to pit a little bit later, and with that, of course, he can push it a little bit more. So, and Wolsal is currently on P6, so that's very good for him. Of course, it is very good for him. But now it is important to see, did this one last pit stop work out for Shorty? And thus far, it's not looking that good for him. Of course, the others still have to pit. But, you know, it's not the thing that we are focusing on right now. Now, it will show if the strategy has worked out or not. It will just show. And currently, Patrose is leading. Yeah, Patrose is leading with Barbaros together. Dexter on that 3rd position. And then we have Scrappy on P4. All going for the same strategy. But maybe Barbaros and Scrappy will go for some more laps. So that is interesting to see. They have 35% of tires. And they can maybe go for the one or another lap. Dexter has pushed a little bit more. So maybe he's going for a lap 48 pit. And maybe the other ones are going for 49 or 50. Who knows, who knows? Who knows that it's standing in the future. Shumi has to go for a pit in lap 48 because he's only 7 liters left of fuel. And then also Era goes for a pit stop now. So he will get overtaken by the one or another player. And again, he's at lap 47 pit stop. So that's not what you aim for. So he definitely has to drive a little bit more conservatively after that. And I think someone got a penalty. I've not seen who was that. Unfortunately, who that was. But yeah. So Barbos, who's going for a pit stop now? It's really important to see that both are going for a pit stop. Is Scrappy going for a lap? No, he's also going for a pit stop. Dexter, is he going for that one? Yes, he is. Shumi has to go for it. Wosal is racing, and Wosal will be leading with that. Of course, Wosal has to do one more pit stop, but currently he's leading with that. Wosal up to P1. Then we have Moppel, who also goes for a pit stop now, a little bit further behind. Eddie as well, and then Matus, who will most likely not overtake the other ones here, because they're already exiting the pit. And also Scrappy got a penalty. Yes, true that. Scrappy with a penalty here, and this is not good here for the Lazarus player. He will drop down a lot of positions, and this is, yeah, not gonna be enough for the top 3. Oh man, thank you for telling me, chat. Thank you, thank you. But now the race will show, or will reveal its face. It is Wosal ahead. Shorty is on P7, and you can see his strategy didn't work out. He is not pitting anymore, and Shorty is too far behind to have a saying, because he is not gonna do a pit. He's not gonna do a pit, and he is 8 seconds behind 2nd position. So Shorty's strategy didn't work out, so we can count him out on this race. And it will be Scrappy who will overtake him here eventually. Probably. But yeah, also only went for 74 liters. So I'm not sure how Scrappy want to do that actually. Oh no, because this is not a lot of fuel left for Scrappy actually. So that is not good. And yeah, I mean, you get a penalty when you are too fast in the pit lane. So you don't want to exceed the 130 kilometers per hour. So Scrappy currently on P8, but only 71 liters. So he can also drop down a little bit more, as we see Wosal, of course, leading. He still has to go for a pit, but no, of course, it will be interesting. Will the pit be enough for him to stay ahead of Patrose, who is 18 seconds behind him? Is Wosal only going for a tire change? Or what is he going for? We are on lap 51. We have only 9 more laps to go after this one here. And let's see what Wosal is doing here. Because this is the importance to see here who is fully blasting it and who not. So Wosal will go for a pit stop now. There's no way he's not going to go for one. Okay, he's doing it calm and collected. Not going any risk. He's just going for the 107 here, which is very smart. I mean, of course, you can go 20 kilometers faster, but I mean, that should not be your incentive. You don't gain the time in the pit, like if you go 130 or 120. So I think also like he should go for 70 liters and now blast it out. So it's actually Patrose now leading the round here. And this will be all decided in the ending. This will be all decided here between Patrose, Dexter, Wosal, and then also Barbos here in the top 4. Shorty has not a lot of fuel, and like in general, the pit stop, he went 3 laps earlier because he didn't go for that. And Shorty is now on the 5th position and he will drop more placements. So Shumi can still overtake him. And let's take a look here onto that top 4 battle. Can Wosal now overtake the people here? He gives us a very good overview over the people here. Barbos and Dexter actually have a fight right now. A solo fight. 1 second is tearing them apart. And yeah, let's just see what happens here if maybe someone is coming closer. As I see here, Scrappy with the rage quit, which is unfortunate. But of course, I can somehow understand that. But I mean, if you make a mistake, you tend to make another mistake. So he was a little bit unfocused there, which is unfortunate because Scrappy could have actually gotten to the top 10 here. And also with another pit stop, I think this would have not been fine for him. So we have another player giving up the race. So another white flag for GG. And lap 51. But yeah, let's take a look onto Wosal. Can he hold it together? He has the most amount of fuel and the most amount of tires. Actually, the fuel doesn't matter, but the tires matter. He is at 87%. He has 20% more. So maybe we're going to see changes when the tires are worn off for the others. No, that's poor for Scrappy. Oh, man. But yeah, now lap 54. Wosal. The thing is, do you need those tires here, those percentage? I think you do. And I think Wosal, that's my bet here, will win this race. That's my bet. But we're gonna see very soon. Because now, of course, people are still cruising and driving. And not a lot is happening. Because the tires are still, yeah, normal. But unless we, or when we will approach the 30% barrier, your car will do very weird things. So let's go ahead here into the last couple of rounds. Lap 55 it is now for Dexter. Barbos and Patrose are leading. Then we have Wosal behind. Shorty is dropping more and more behind here. 10 seconds behind Patrose. And Shumi is also coming a bit closer towards him. But of course we're going to focus on the battle here for that top placements. We're going to focus on that. And yeah, now the point comes in, I think, around 56, 57, where we see if Wosal's strategy is working out or not. How will the tires will affect Patrose, Barbos, and Dexter, and can Wosal win the points here or not? So the first place gets 115 points, second 95, then 80 for P3, and place 4 will get 70, then 65, 60, 56, and so on. But you can see the ranking after that as well. Alright, so again, Wosal with a lot of speed over this section has still 20% more tires than the others. And now comes the interesting part. Patrose is still leading here ahead of Barbos, 3 seconds ahead. But then there's also Dexter lurking here a little bit. Lurking, only 1 second behind. Guys, remember, Dexter had a penalty. And is still on that 3rd position. He could have won this race by ease, I would say. Could have won it by ease. And yeah, has Dexter enough fuel? That's a good question. It's 6 liters per lap. So it might be enough. I would say 6 to 7 lat. What is penalty? So a penalty will occur if you hit the pit. So you need to pit stop, like in real Formula 1. You need to pit stop. And if you hit the pit too fast, you get a penalty of 10 seconds. So maybe it is Dexter going or rolling into the finish. Who knows that? And maybe the one or another player can overtake him. But now we have the interesting part coming up. The tires will be worn off after like just coming into the next lap. Lap 58. So we only have 3 more laps to go here in order to see who's gonna take this one home. When does TMGL start? It will start at 20 CET. And I'm also covering it on M&M Gaming, but that's something else. Just gonna focus on this race here. But yeah, Dexter with not the best amount of fuel management here. 18 liters for him. 18 liters for him, and this is not looking too good here for Dexter. And also for Shorty. I mean, Shorty still has to go slow, but he can get overtaken by not even Shumi, by error as well. So like all the 3 players here have to save now. And it could be Wosal who can take it. It could be him taking it because the tires of the people are worn off. 51% for Wosal, 26 liters of fuel, and Dexter is approaching the second to last lap. And look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Dexter is sliding out in this very, very crucial section. And with that, it is Wosal coming so much closer here with that. Wosal coming closer, and Wosal can snipe that 3rd position here. That was the oversteer. That's like if you exit the ice and you have icy tires, you will lose that. And Dexter will lose more and more time. Only 0.06 of a second here between Wosal and Dexter. Wosal still with 46% of tires. And also Barbos and Patrosa are affected by that. You can see just when I go over that, you don't want to oversteer. You have to go for conservative racing lines. The question is it enough? Are the 6 seconds enough here for Patrosa to take home the victory? Wosal is of course pushing it. He's still at 40% tires. It is lap 60 now for him, and it is Wosal maybe even going into that 3rd position here with, yes, he actually does. He does do that. Patrosa still leading the race here. Barbos on that 2nd position. Wosal only 2.2 seconds behind. Is he pushing it or not? That's the question. He has to, of course. He has nothing to lose. And also Dexter here only with 4 liters of fuel left for him. But yeah, Patrosa looks like to win the race, so it's not enough for Wosal to take this one. Barbos on P2, and then we have Wosal on that 3rd position. But the question is here, who's getting 4th? So Patrosa wins here the race. The first race goes to Patrosa. Then we have Barbos behind. Wosal on P3. Dexter with 1 liter of fuel. And this is exactly enough for Dexter to take home P4. Shorty is going very safe on that 5th position, but can get overtaken here by Shumi. And Shorty loses it here. And yes, he will get overtaken. So Shumi on 5th position. Shorty is on P6. Then we have Dexter. Wait, hello? No, Shorty on P7, sorry, got overtaken by Era here in the ending. And Eddie on P8, Matus on 9th, Moppel on 10th, Joey on P11. Then we have Rachel on P12, and then Figure behind that on P13. Wow, man. Yes, I will comment Trackmania Grand League. What a race. What a race, though. I thought it will be a bit closer between Wosal, Patrosa and Barbos, but yeah, I mean, it's deserved here. For Patrosa winning this race, going home with 115 points. Barbos on P2 at 95 points, and Wosal on that 3rd position. So still Shorty with his technique, getting P7, and the winner of the seeding, or of the qualifying, none other than Jesse Rhodes, aka oh my gosh, man. He is taking home, where is he? Hello? Taking home P12. So that concludes the first race here of the Trackmania Formula League Season 2. So hopefully you enjoyed my cast. It was the first time me doing something like that, but I think it was very good. Also, thanks for the follows. And through that, Dexter lost the win with the penalty, but that's the standing here. Let's take a look onto the other people here. Everyone has finished somewhat. And yes, Scrappy, Bruni, and some other people with DNFs, as well as GG. So that concludes the race. But guys, before you go anywhere,